Okay, so I flipped the monitor over to its front and looking through that's the power connector for the AC. And for the connections, looks like there's one HDMI, two display ports, probably a headset jack, and this other type of USB and two regular USB connections. So not sure if I want to actually cover the panel because I may need to access those USB ports or something like that. But for now, let's just connect the various wires. So that's the AC cord. I wish they'd offered two HDMI connections instead of a display port. But I guess since the monitor doesn't support any speakers or sound, the HDMI doesn't buy us anything. I'm not sure if HDR is supported on a display port, but for now let's just assume that we don't really need. I guess the picture-in-picture feature might have used it. Got to be careful not to put too much pressure on these. Yeah, that's the HDMI. So we'll connect those to the back of the monitor. Okay, power cord is connected. I suppose it's much easier to install the wires like this rather than later because it's a heavy monitor. It would be really hard to reach the back once we flip it over and place it on the desktop. So it kind of makes sense that we install the wires now. It was the HDMI and finally the display port. And I think it suggests to move in the wires and kind of pinch them and bring them all to the center like this. Both the display port and the HDMI only go in one way, so we don't have to struggle with which direction and things like that. I guess the only challenging part is that the display port has this heavy connector here which makes it a little hard to get in place. But if you bend it a bit, then then it makes it possible. So all the connections are done, and that's what it looks like. That's the power and the HDMI and display port. And I guess the instructions say to kind of bring them all to the center, probably so you can use the cable guide in the stand, and they all come out from the bottom of the cable guide. I think that's the plan. That's the stand. So I think what happened is when we install the stand like this, sort of something like this. The cables would all come in through the cable guide. I think that's the plan.